Flat earthers are not jobs, so yes they are. Let's see, are we live yet? I guess we're live. My stream is slow to get started here on my end. Greetings, programs. This is Digital Jedi coming to you with another edition of Designing a Jedi. Live, more or less live, from Jedi Temple 1. You know, I say that live from in all of my podcasts, and this is actually the only time I'm actually live. Well, in the event, to anyone who comes, there's nobody here, so why am I saying hello? There's no one here. But in the event, if you're watching this on the repost, the recorded version, welcome back. Thanks for watching me again. We're getting to the final stages of, well, not, I guess, yeah, that's technically the final stages. We're past the design stage of the Jedi avatar character, who, as I've mentioned before, is a cross between a Jedi and a Tron character, basically a Jedi in the Tron Legacy universe, or the grid, as it's called. And we'll be getting into designing the actual artwork for the page. You may have noticed I uploaded the actual artwork on my page last yesterday. Yeah, that's all we talk. Look, man, I ain't good at these live things. That's why I try to do scripted content. Also, I probably should have eaten more. Where's my coffee? It's cold. I'm gonna drink it anyway. So let's get started. We got some leftover stuff here from when I was redoing the artwork. We'll just close that, and we'll close that. Yesterday we redid the temporary channel art, and we did some thumbnails for my other pages. I never got to add the new thumbnails, but I did get to update the channel art. So, and I did change the thumbnail for this live stream, so it's a little more colorful than what I had there. And you know, you never know, I may decide to change it yet again. I think we basically got all the lines we were going for. The design, basic design we were going for. Let me take a look at my channel one more time and see how that actually is going to look on the web. Basically, you want all your main content here in this little blue area. Yep. The yellow area and the pink area represent the different devices that your art shows up on. The full area is for larger screens, like some televisions. When someone visits your channel on their television, they'll get the full image. So that's why you want to put your main content here, but you don't want to have just content in the screen. Otherwise, when people are looking at your channel on other devices, they see just weird cutoffs and empty space. So you want to consider that when you create your art, channel art. Let me take a look at my channel over here real quick. All right. Last time when I was doing this, I seemed to just be cleaning up stuff. I know we need to kind of think about where the lightsaber is going to be, so let's do that. On the main pencils layer, we'll go ahead and close my Jedi art here and go to the pencils. We're going to use these as a template. Where are they? That's the old lightsaber. I guess that still kind of works. We just need to re-angle it. It still kind of works, but I think I'm going to redo it anyway. just because I'm not seeing the, yeah, I don't think I'd actually drag those in. Let's go over to my, no, it's not it. That's my old picture. Let's open the DJ character design PSD. And grab one of these layers here. Actually, I don't think you can grab it by the layer. I think you have to actually grab it by the image itself and then drop it in there. We're using a light cycle staff or whatever that's called. I was calling it a light cycle stick, but it has an official name. As a guide for what we're going to create here. I don't actually need it in place. I just need it as a reference. It's a pretty straightforward design. Yeah, and I'm still trying to decide if in my little fictional Jedi world, my fictional little Tron Jedi world here, if my lightsaber would be a cross between, if it would actually be a functioning light cycle and a lightsaber. That's probably why I gave myself two, so that I could have one to actually ride and fight with at the same time. So, I hate when that happens. All right, let's create a new lightsaber layer and open my shapes. Let's go with the rectangle tool this time so that we can adjust. And is this set to a path? Yeah. So we'll do a long path here and we can adjust the shape of this path accordingly. Let's see, perspective. And make it a little bit wider at the top. This lightsaber is going to look a little bit different from a traditional lightsaber. I'm not going to add the. What I would normally do is I would create a solid white stick and add a glow. But also give the original shape a bit of a Gaussian blur. And in this case, I am going to leave the Gaussian blur out. Let's name that path so I don't lose it. These ones that are not saved tend to disappear. Yeah, instead of having the Gaussian blur, the energy stick is going to look solid. I decided I'm going to make it look like the edges of a identity disk. So. Yeah, I think that's good. And I can actually fidget with the end here if I want to, because ordinarily I would do a square, a squared rectangle, and then just use a brush to dot the tip of the lightsaber. But since we're going with a kind of a succinct shape, I will. Should I keep it squared? I think I kind of want to round the edge. Round the tip. That created a whole new anchor point. Please create the anchor point on the shape. Thank you. Yeah, I think we might go more with rounded. never quite understood the theming of the Tron Legacy, the rules to the Tron Legacy universe. So it could suck in any organic matter and recreate it. But in Tron, see, in the first Tron, Flynn, obviously he could be killed, he could be hurt, but he wasn't. He didn't interact with the world exactly like people because he was the creator. He was the creator of that world. So as a user, he had godlike abilities, but he still like benefited from stuff like drinking whatever that energy source was. I think they call it. They never did specify what that was, but it was water. But it energized him, and his glowed brighter when he drank from it. But then when we got to Tron Legacy, we saw some other elements. For instance, Sam got sucked into that world with his regular clothes on, whereas his dad went in with, and his costume was changed on the way in, almost like it was a part of their person. And part of me thought nobody had hair in that in that universe. Everybody was like a part of their costume, but that wasn't necessarily the case, because we did see some hair in the city scene when Flynn crashed his recompiled recognizer into the city. Some of the women there had, well, at least one woman there had a giant hairstyle. And there's a deleted scene where Yori takes Tron back to her place. Yeah. They do some recompiling, but she puts on something a little less comfortable, and she has, you see her hair down. So it's and Sam's clothes vanished at one point. Not vanished. Sam's clothes were, how did they take it? The sirens took his clothes off. I forget how they did that. They didn't even seem to think that his clothes were weird. They just removed them and replaced them. So I don't know. I wonder where those clothes went. Hey, you can probably tell I've watched those movies quite a bit. All right, let's get one of my brush presets here. Something with a hard edge. And what we've done is we've created a new layer. This is, I'm going to call this a Tron lightsaber, so I know the difference. And this is going to be the lightsaber hilts. Excuse me, I did not mean to burp into the microphone. And I'm going to experiment a little bit here rather than just draw it and color it later. I'm kind of just going to tinker around with making this look. I'm tinkering. Not everything has to be done exactly the same way. Yeah, I think that's kind of not as precise as I would like it, but as I said, I'm experimenting here. Let's, whoops. I told you I'd forget that I changed that shortcut a few episodes back. So these are parts that wouldn't be seen because the hand is covering them. interestingly, I think I would make this, since you can't tell which end is which, and people don't give Jedi enough credit, man. There was like, how is it they know how, what? Because I heard that the lightsabers have a safety switch, which is fine. The lightsaber gets knocked out. But I don't think that safety switch is for, I don't think that safety switch is for the Jedi necessarily. I think that safety switch is so that the lightsaber don't hack up a bunch of people's heads off if you're fighting somebody and he knocks the active lightsaber out of your hand. Yeah, we could use a little more curving here. It doesn't. I'm not honoring the foreshortening. I told you foreshortening wasn't my greatest attribute, although I should be able to do it on a solid object. And this doesn't even need to be accurate here, but I guess a little bit might show at the back of the hand. Yeah, I'll use a pen tool to go back through this, and I just kind of wanted to get an idea of what it would look like. And I believe I already have some blue glows in here. Let's copy that layer style and add it to this one. Where'd it go? Can't see it too much, but yeah, I think it might work. And we might do I'm probably going to do a Tron-like background. That should be fun. We'll probably need a couple of live streams for that one, because backgrounds are not a thing that I've done a lot of. But I have done them. They just take me a long time. They're not hard. They're just, it's a different skill set you have to access. But yeah, I like where that is going. So I'm going to take this stuff just to be a little more organized here. I don't need this color palette open so wide. Yeah, let's take all my lightsaber stuff and put it in a folder. Okay, I'm going to close that out for now. I don't know why I'm hesitating inking all this. I said I was going to do more with this hand over here, didn't I? Let's get a softer pencil. Maybe something like that. Where would the elbow be? The elbow would be right about there. I might just cheat this time and just leave it be. I don't want to spend a lot of time trying to make that make sense. Hey, the great thing about digital artwork is that you can go back and fix any severe issues. Hold on, coffee break. So the live stream health pretty much stays in the yellow these days, which means you're probably not seeing high resolution version of this, but that's okay. Is this the old line work? That's the old line work. Let's create a new path. Ignore. Whoops. Let's go ahead and start inking. So we're going to need to, and as I've told you before in past live streams, I have to do this toggle so that my computer unsticks the pen, because it just won't let go for some reason. All right, let me pick a decent brush for inking. Not the one that I'd been using, because that was giving me too much transparency. Probably one of these three. These three have become my favorite. Reduce the size there considerably. Of course, we need to pick a new layer. I'm gonna put these pencils in their own folder. And what was this? I don't even know what that was. Oh, I was trying to give myself a cape or cloak. Yeah, we're junking that. That's just in the way. That was the back end of my lightsaber hilt. We don't need that. And we don't really need, we can keep that. We'll need it for later. Here's my original inks. You know, we'll hang on to that for posterity's sake. And just create a new inks layer. So I don't get confused. All right. Okay. Nothing happened. Got my right pin. Really? Oh. Selection's still active. I don't know why I always act all confused when I see that. Let's see, is that the line width I want? I tend to like a thicker line width, so maybe I should have left the pencil where it was. The brush where it was. Yeah, I like that. And I can adjust as I go. And I like the little imperfections that you get when you do this, because you know it doesn't have to be perfect. It shouldn't be perfect unless you're going for just pristine perfection, like on the side of a building. If that building is supposed to represent something really modern and sleek. But then, like, if you're doing something ancient, or if you're doing people, then you want a little bit of imperfection. I think I'll do those, my little hair things at the top of my head differently. It really only happens when my hair gets long. Let's just fill that in. Stuck again. Thought we had reconnected here. It's happening a lot today. Okay, now my keyboard's not responding. Oh yeah, that's a little late now. I did it manually. All right. I don't know why it's doing it so much today. I think I wanted it a little thicker than that. Kind of debating whether or not I want to do that solid black. But that might be fine. What did I do for the old picture? We can try that. We can try that. So rather than fill these lines, I'll probably just stroke these lines. Erase here. Ordinarily, I might not have inked this in one stroke. We'll just see. I think what I want is a little bit more of a natural brush thing here. We're going to delete that whole section there and just do this. And we can get something a little more, has a bit more of a natural brush stroke. And all those heavy sighs you hear in the background is just my young Padawan learner messing with my stuff. Because she will not stay out of my office. Alright, let's try this. Let's switch to the arrow tool. Switch to the manual arrow tool. Sure is a time saver when I can just hold down control, but that seems to be where we're getting stuck. Yeah, seems to be the biggest issue was it would get stuck when I would use Alt to shift it. So I don't know what the deal there is. We can debate this part. Probably gonna do something different here. You can also use eraser to stroke a line, but I'm not going to do that here. I wonder what it is about using the arrow when I'm holding down Control. It should functionally be the same tool. It shouldn't create problems. I just noticed it changed to the Move tool just there for a second, and now it's frozen. Why would it change to the Move tool? Oh no, I've had problems with Photoshop before where I've had a Windows shortcut. Look at that. That's not even... Is that the Move tool? What is that? And you see it's stuck there. And if you hold on Control, it's whatever tool that is with Control. There's the arrow back. And it's stuck. Just curious what that is. That's completely unrelated tool. Oh, look at that, it did it again. That's interesting. I don't know why it does that, but it does. And as I was saying, I've had instances where I've had a Windows shortcut interfering with a Photoshop shortcut. For instance, Control-Shift-S kept taking a screenshot. And in that case, it wasn't a Photoshop shortcut. It wasn't a Windows shortcut. It was a mouse without borders shortcut was interfering with the save. Control-Shift-S should save, and it would take a screen. It would open a screenshot tool, which for the longest time I couldn't figure out. Let's double check something here. See, a mouse without borders is all these require Control-Alt, 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 Control-Alt-Shift-Q. So it shouldn't be something as simple as holding down Control when tapping the mouse. So that's probably not it. I'll have to check my Windows shortcuts and see. Since I will be coloring this later, I don't know. I don't know if I want a line there. I think I want any lines there. We'll just do something different when we get to that area. Okay. Still so much faster to be able to use, to be able to hold down control. Yeah, it's shifting between, looks like the move tool. It's the move tool without the move icon. What arrow is that? It's not the path selection tool. I don't know what that is. But it only pops up if I hold down, if I have the pen tool active, hold down control. I'm not holding down control hard enough. And I tap and I try to get one of these. If I miss, it's gone. What happens if I never miss? No, same thing. So the issue, look at that. Wow. That's just stupid. No, I might do the lines thinner on this side of the face. Probably my light source will be over here, so the lines will be thinner. And as we pointed out before, Photoshop just makes certain things easier, faster to execute, but you still got to put in the work. If you think you can draw a horse by putting it in Photoshop and tracing the horse, what you've done is you've just traced a horse. The same thing that would have happened. It's the same thing that would have happened if you had put vellum tracing paper or put it on a light box or held it up to the sun. You still don't know how to draw a horse. You know how to trace a horse. However, you have taken the first steps toward learning how to draw a horse, because we learned to draw. Artists in general learned how to draw by copying what we saw. We didn't just know. It didn't just happen. We had to practice, and we had to copy other artists, and we had to trace other artists. We had to understand their line work so that they knew how they were getting to the shapes that they were getting, how they were making things work. Probably the only people that make those kind of accusations are people who are not artists. And I'm sure there are some artists who are just super full of themselves, and they think that they create the most true and artistic things in the world, and that there's somehow there's only one way to create art. But I don't like to call anybody not an artist, because that's what they do. But those are artists who have gotten too full of themselves and who have forgotten what art actually is, or perhaps never learned. But art is anything. Art is anything that you have to work and put your creative endeavors into, put your creative energies into to make happen. And yeah, some stuff might be easier than others. But just because it isn't messy, it's because you don't have glue-stained fingers, or permanent marker marks on your hands, does not mean that you don't create art. Because our tools are all different. In the digital age, things have changed. There are some artists that don't like to ink with the pen tool, so they use freehand. My hand is less steady than that, just why my pencil marks are kind of sloppy, kind of shaky. So I rely on the pen tool to make that my lines cleaner. In the old days, I had to rely on rulers, compasses, protractors, and inking curves. I got the same results, but with monumentally more time and effort, and it wasn't very efficient. A picture like this would have probably taken me several days just to ink. And I would have made a lot more mistakes, and I wouldn't have gotten it. I wouldn't have been able to undo the mistakes. I would have had to have been careful not to do this on the original. And I would have to trace my own artwork to make sure that I didn't repeatedly screw it up. And there were some people who could freehand it. The only thing that's changed is now those of us that didn't have a steady hand have a faster, more efficient tool to making our hand steady. And those of us that did have a steady hand have to spend less time cleaning up mistakes. We still got to deal with all those little pesky eccentricities of having a computer like I'm doing right now with this stupid thing freezing all the time. And having to switch between windows. But it's a minor annoyance compared to when I had to work on paper. Plus, it's a huge time saver in the department of now I don't have to scan it to color it. Or scan it to get it on the internet. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with doing it the old-fashioned way either. It's just these are the tools of our particular trade. I'm waiting for the day my live streams get really active. Presumably that day will come. And when that does, I'll probably need a moderator to that was supposed to uncheck. There we go. To hide all the spam commenters that I usually see in other channels. I mean, there's nobody here. There's not even people telling you to go check out their webcams or yelling Donald Trump 2020. So, you know I'm not there yet. Well, you noisy over there. You know that. Just keep dropping stuff while I'm live streaming. Just keep banging the walls and the drawers over there. That's fine. See how quiet it is. Let's see how quiet that is when you have to go sleep tonight. I might decide I want to watch one of my Batman cartoons while you're trying to sleep. Where'd the handlebar go? Oh, there it is. I think I want this a little more square. Come on now, let go. And as I've mentioned in a much earlier live stream, I have the custom set of brushes here to do this. This particular brush is set with where the it doesn't come to a fine point. It's more like this one. It's this one here actually. The point truncates. It's cut off before it gets too thin to more simulate like if I was, because the stroke dialog, when you actually open this, you see it opening temporarily there because I have it built into a shortcut, so it's just doing it whenever I press a button. But the stroke shortcut lets you simulate pen pressure from your, like if you were using a stylus, which I am, but I believe it simulates the pen pressure regardless when you use that dialog menu, when you use this button. So if you use this type of brush where it just comes to a point at the end, it will make it an actual fine point at the end of your line. So I use one that truncates a bit because that's a little more, closer to what you do with your pen. You wouldn't actually do a thin little point at the end of every stroke. You'd lift your pen before it got too thin. I have a couple of brushes like that. Wow, I've been this at 50 minutes for 50 minutes already, huh? Coffee. wonder if I'd like that a little bit. Yeah. I guess I'll have to go about this a different way. Drop my anchors and then adjust their points so that I don't. I really did like. It really does mess with my workflow though. Sorry. Don't yawn into the microphone. Why can't I yawn into the microphone? I mean, is that really a rule? Can I not seem tired in the live stream? Am I not allowed to express human emotion here? Yeah. I don't think there's really any etiquette to how this thing works. I see people saying stupid stuff all the time in live streams. I'm pretty sure I can yawn in one. I remember a few years back I saw before monetization, there were quite a few people that had like there was a lot of regular uploaders and people that I don't know if they were making a living per se doing this, but they had really active channels. And I remember someone saying to a particular YouTuber who was, I think, like the 15th most subscribed YouTuber or the 50th. She was somewhere up in there. I remember them saying to her that she was rude for not uploading a video every month. That's literally how they put it. It's rude to not have a video up every month. I'm like, dude, seriously, go jump off a bridge. I'm pretty sure people can upload videos whenever they gosh darn well feel like it. Especially before monetization, it wasn't like if I don't upload regularly, it's gonna affect my stats and I'm not gonna get any revenue. No, it was just you didn't get to watch somebody sing karaoke this month and you're think that that's rude. You're an idiot. Seem to be missing jerkwad. Connect. Gosh dang it. And it was all curved around too. And I have no handlebars for that one. This is not my path today, is it? And that crinkling noise is my noisy little girl again. Who likes playing with stuff in my office that she's not supposed to touch. Did I mention my family ignores me? Yeah. Guess I just have to try to get proficient with the whoa, what did I do that for? clone stamp tool. And there's a anchor point there that is just a ghost anchor point. Serves no purpose being there. Let's just delete that. Yeah, I never see the professional YouTube, the professional artists ever paint on the wrong layer, like ever. And they always have exactly the layer they want for exactly the way they're going to do this particular picture. I know they plan some of this in advance, but jeez, I'm always picking the wrong layer. Uh-oh. My notifications on YouTube. Nobody interacting with my channel, just flat earthers trolling me. It's totally related to my content, right? I am somewhat amazed at like some of the larger YouTubers. They still I mean they've been doing this YouTube thing for a long time. They're you know, they're much younger than me, and they still get their feelings kind of hurt when they get trolled. I mean, it still has an effect on them. I'm just like, gosh. I mean, granted I'm older, but I've been looking at trolls on the internet for like the very first time I got on the internet. Before I had internet, I went on someone's house when they still had chat rooms, and there was some doucheberry trolling in the chat room. Could you keep the wrinkly crinkly? Don't give me that. Give me. The reason I took that away from you in the first place. No eating it. You don't eat plastic bags. You don't eat Ziploc bags. They're not for consumption or for teething or for whatever it is you're doing. So just find something else to do. Speaking of trolling. Thought that was getting awfully noisy. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, I don't. Man, I'm talking about like it was like the 90s. Like the early stages of the internet. So I mean, I don't get what I don't see why trolls bother people that much. It's just they've never bothered me like at all. And some of them try to get personal, man. I guess because I've been watching them for so long and dealing with them for so long. And admittedly, there was this time that I spent on YouTube before I started up my doing my geek thing here on the channel, where I just had an account I've had an account much longer than I've been posting. Um, I've owned a channel longer than I've been maintaining a channel as it's usually maintained in this day and age. And mostly I just trolled all the trolls in those days. I mean, it was fun because it was easy. I used to have a statement on my profile that said that my mission was to torment people who only come to YouTube to make other people's life difficult. Now, not everybody deserved the same level of anti-trolling to the same degree. But somehow everybody that I had even a minor disagreement with, you know, even if we were just like discussing stuff rationally, and we were just debating rationally, they would go to your profile. For some reason, they wanted to look at your profile, and they would see that statement, and they would just lose their friggin' minds, because they would immediately think that you were talking about them. I was amazed at the number of people who self-identified as individuals whose sole purpose, as I put it, was to come to YouTube to make other people's life miserable. They self-identified with that and felt that I was the sad one. But no, I was saying I was coming to YouTube to make fun of you for being the sad one. You can't come back and say, you can't reverse. That's not a reverse thing. That's like reverse racism. That's not a thing. It's not a thing that exists. So I await the comment trolls. One of my favorite YouTubers is going live soon. So I'm well past an hour, which I only plan on doing an hour. But okay, let's hide the strokes layer and let's hide the pencils layer. Just take a look at what we got so far. So far, yes, I see some things that we could touch up, but so far so good. Actually, let's save it like this. Control 0. And we're gonna make a copy of the whole thing. Actually, I want to open the live stream thumb, BSD. And I want to use the old font that I had for that one. Hey, no chewing your fingers. Don't do that. And let's resize this in a way that makes sense. Using this one because I like the color scheme and how it matches with the YouTube template. This is an official template, by the way, I think. I'm pretty sure I got this off of one of the YouTube help pages. And we're going to use this for the thumbnail for this video when it posts. Okay. Quit your belly aching. We'll make sure to use a JPEG so I can adjust the size. Let's not put that in channel assets. Let's use the folder that I created yesterday. And we're going to call call it design. We'll call it design 2. Figured I'd have more of those. And as I said, I like to save my thumbs. I have them auto backing up to my Google account, to my Google Photos, which has unlimited storage. Hey, what'd I tell you? Which has unlimited storage, so I can. You know, there's one thing here that I'm missing. And I'm going to grab this from another PSD. I think it was this one here that I did yesterday. Actually, kind of dig. Waiting for you to digging these two things. Still waiting for you to open. Still wait. One of those deals? It was one of those deals. And we'll put it up in the corner, like up here or here, or I don't know, here. Ordinarily it'd be here to attract attention, but I don't want to cover my artwork, so yeah, that's better. Let's save over that last image we created. What was it? This one. Really? That seems... don't you usually give this to me in megabytes? Why are you giving me kilobytes? That seems off. Seems kind of small. Let me do that again. Something didn't seem right there. It's still giving to me in kilobytes. Oh well. Seemed like there was a lot more color in that picture than that. All right, and that will synchronize, and I'll do it on the other computer a little bit later. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for joining. We will. I will be back. Most likely, I'll be back tomorrow. If I'm not, will you stop? Stop. Unless I'm dealing with this child tomorrow again, I will be back tomorrow to do more. Hold on. Just quit. Get that. Stop. Yeah. Did I mention I was a stay-at-home dad? Yeah. So I will be back most likely tomorrow for another live stream of Designing a Jedi. I appreciate you tuning in. I try to do this every single day. It's supposed to take place in the morning. It's just gotten later and later in the day when I get around to it. I have issues. I have a sleep disorder. Just don't judge me. Subscribe to my channel and click the little bell icon if you want to be notified when I do stream live, because it could be whenever. It's kind of a crapshoot. So you might want to do that so you know when I'm on. And you can watch me on your phone or your mobile devices or wherever you happen to be. You'll be notified when I upload videos. I don't post much. No, I'm posting more. I will be posting more in the next few months. I'm trying to get things a little more organized, get my channel art together, and get a schedule so that I can upload things on a more consistent basis and maybe give you some more higher quality videos and to maybe make some money from actual ad revenue. Because we're poor. Also, I will be starting a podcast up here relatively soon, but I believe I've pushed up the actual production of that to January because there's some logistics that need to be worked out. I'll also be continuing to share our reaction videos with Mrs. Digital Jedi, and sometimes the Jedi Padawan will make minor guest appearances. We react to TV show trailers, movie trailers, actual TV shows, sometimes whole episodes. I also post movie reviews. I will be doing more of those in the coming months, in the coming year, and you will also see just an assortment of geek-related things and fun come from my channel. So share with your friends, share this live stream with your friends, share my channel with your friends, share my video with your friends. And you know what? Just share it with those people that you don't even know that you friended on Facebook. Those people that follow you on Instagram. Just you have no idea who they are. Just share this with everybody, and I will